Yeah.
Really?
My mother had the same boots.
Same
But
coat?
the timing of that
Your mother
movie
had the
was
same
more.
what?
That was more in my generation. It was back in the 40s, the late 30s, early 40s.
Did you have the leg
which
lamps?
time.
No.
You didn't have the leg lamps.
Right.
Well,
And
Jimmy,
the
guess
whole
what?
movie
They're
is
selling it
about a
on
young boy
eBay.
and how he's conniving to get a BB gun for
Daddy's
Christmas.
favorite.
Red Ryder BB.
Red Ryder BB gun. Okay? Well, when I was young, I wanted a Red Ryder
all about the
BB gun.
lamp.
Only I just wanted a BB gun. I didn't care what kind it was. And I got a BB gun for one Christmas. And the words my mother laid on me after I opened it up is, "You better be careful you don't shoot your eye out." Seriously. So, me and my brother Johnny, this is Uncle John, we go out in the yard and we're playing. This is after Christmas, and of course the Christmas tree had come down. It was thrown out in the yard, and we're playing Cowboys and Indians. So he's the Indian, I'm the cowboy because I got the
Poor Uncle John gets shot.
So I'm going around and we're looking behind the chicken coop and behind the garage, and there's the Christmas tree laying there. It was pretty dense, you couldn't see through it. And I said, "I know you're behind that tree, come on out." And there was no motion. So I whipped one off, pow, I shot one in the Christmas tree, ding, and it right in the floor.
Oh my God!
That was the end of my BB gun.
Oh no!
It was taken away from me, and then I took it and I traded it with some other kid for a nanny goat.
Oh,
That's
and
another story, and I'm not getting into that.
oh, Daddy, that's a funny. Oh, that's a funny story. Tell the nanny goat story. Daddy, tell the nanny goat story.
Well, I'll tell you about Uncle John first.
You okay, honey?
When we were young boys, I always had the dream.
Abby, are you
of a
okay,
horse that was
honey?
like 15
Yeah,
months
you're
younger
kinda
than me.
pale.
So take your brother with you. Take your brother with you. Well, my father had gotten this bike from a friend of his for me. So I had this two-wheel bike, and I'd put it in the garage. And if I started down the road, my mother would spot me and say, "Take your brother John with you," you know. Well, one time I was sick of taking my brother John with me. So I put him up on the handlebars. And I start pedaling down the street, and on the end of the street there was this gravel patch on the road. I turned it real fast, and he went ass over tea kettle down the road. He ended up, they had to take him to the emergency room for stitches on his mouth. He ate through a straw for a week and a half.
I bet your video.
You were a mean brother.
John, I would talk to you.
I bet your mom didn't ask you to take him home.
No.
It was bad.
Mom, stop.
All right, Sarah wants another goat story.
Yeah, what's
Daddy.
the goat?
Tell him about the egg thing you did to that
I
poor
don't like the
Chinese
cameras.
man.
Well, he wasn't
Huh?
Chinese. He was just
Oh, you're so handsome.
I had a job on a chicken
You
farm.
get to go
Oh,
now.
Daddy was on a chicken farm too.
Oh yeah,
It's like
well,
Sammy.
I'm too
Lakewood at
handsome
that
for your
time was
camera.
chicken
I'm like,
country.
Oh, you're kidding.
And I had got a job in a chicken farm, and my job is pushing the wagon in from
I
coop
did
to
too.
coop. You know, it was like on a trolley, and you had baskets of feed there. You had to fill up all the feed troughs and collect all the eggs out of the hen coops and put them in baskets. And then you had to take them to the egg room, and then you had to clean them. Okay.
I did
Well, when
that,
you clean
Daddy.
eggs, you don't wash them. You took something that was like a shoe shine brush, only had sandpaper on it, and you would grind off any marks or chicken poop or whatever else.
Oh, that was even worse than the way I used to have to do it.
We're done with snowman.
And of course you get going
We had an
and
automatic
you're moving
dishwasher.
pretty fast. And I'd always mess up and I'd hit the egg with the end of the brush. Break one, it'd drop, get another one, just keep going. Well, I broke more eggs than card out of the liver pill, so the guy fired me. And I got mad at him because he fired me. And of course, through the couple weeks I worked there, I got to know his dog pretty good. So that night we snuck up by the chicken coops, and the dog didn't bark because he knew me. And we opened up all his chicken coops and let all his chickens out. So all those 1-year-old layers, 2-year-old layers, and 3-year-old layers were all mixed in with the young pullets that are out in the range.
Oh no.
It's a goat story, Daddy. That's a
Sarah
good
wants
one.
a goat story.
Well, when I got this goat, it was kind of cool in the beginning. You know, I could move around. And to feed him, it was easy. You just take the
Jimmy, could
steak
you
out of the
move
ground,
that-
you move it, you pound it down a new
Could you move
spot,
that
and
bottle
you
over?
eat the circle of grass.
Yeah, you don't have to mow.
And every time I went out to feed him, I used to give him feed too, but every time I went to feed him, the goat would put his head down and he'd butt me. You know, I got tired of this. Besides, I got tired of taking care of this stupid goat. One morning, and you got pictures, because this is
I
during
still
World
don't
War
believe he's
II.
alive.
Okay, now World War II, you didn't have anything.
Yeah, he never moved.
And even meat was rationed.
I was like, you're right,
You
no,
had
you're
to
waking
have
me up.
government ration stamps, and you went to a butcher store. If you bought a piece of meat, you had to give them so many stamps and stuff like that.
Wow.
So meat was kind of scarce. And my bedroom was right up over the kitchen. I had a grate in the floor that I would open and let the heat from the kitchen stove come up my bedroom. And I'm up there and I'm listening to my father talk to my mother in the morning before he went to work. and he's complaining about the dinner. He says, when are you going to get some meat in this house? And, you know, that type of conversation. And so I sort of felt bad because she couldn't get the meat from the butcher. The butcher didn't have any. He wanted some meat in the house.
No, you ate the goat.
So I took the goat, and I talked to my friend Charlie, and we took the goat down to Charlie's barn, and we proceeded to butcher it.
Oh, God.
And now, in butchering this goat, Charlie had a 22 rifle, and it was all over. It was a single shot. So you pull the trigger and one click. You cock it again, you pull the trigger and go click.
Oh, they're so
You
cute.
cock it again, pull the trigger, maybe it go bang.
Goats are
So
cute.
yeah, and we had these
Like a
little
kitten,
22
yeah,
shorts.
but not a goat.
So finally I hit him in the head, bang, and the bullet ricocheted off his scalp. The goat said, bah, we're trying to hold him still, we're trying to get a bullet through his head to kill him. And he kept pulling away from us on the cheek. So finally I got a knife, and I sat on top of the goat, and I grabbed his horns, pulled it back, and I slit his throat.
Oh, the kosher
The
way.
goat killed.
Very kosher.
Hey,
Now we got a butcher.
talking to me? I'm sitting right here.
So we got to go down to Charlie's barn, and he's going to hayloft it over there with a rope thing. He's going to pull up bales of hay. So we tie the goat to the rope, jack him up, and we get him up to the hayloft. We're going to do this in the hayloft where nobody can see us. And we got this big galvanized bucket we slipped under the goat. We're going to cut him open and gut him, right? Well, we cut him open. I tell you, you never smelled nothing like the inside of a goat. It was gross. We tripped over each other, running downstairs to wet some rags in the rain barrel so we could put them over our faces. So anyway, we
All
cut the
right.
goat up, and I promised Charlie a leg if he helped me. We got into a fight because he wanted the back leg and I wanted to get the front leg. Okay?
There's no meat on the front leg.
I know, but Charlie was bigger than me and he beat me up, so I got the back leg. So then I take this lamb, let's call it lamb at this point because that's what we talked about. It was no longer goat, it was lamb. Flung it over my shoulders, and I puffed back over the cornfields home, and I walked in the house and I flopped it on the table, and my mother walked in the kitchen. She said, "What in the world did you do there?" So when I explained what we did so we could have meat, I mean, at that point, what could she do but proceed to butcher it up and keep it? Well, my father and mother had these friends, the Gordleys.
Oh, yeah.
And the Gordleys showed up every Sunday for dinner, without fail. Now, I don't know where they ever got the gas to drive it, because they would drive from Edgewater, which is across from New York City, all the ways down to Lakewood. That's like 90 miles. And I don't know how they got the gas to do it, but they did. They were there every Sunday for dinner. They come down one Sunday, right after I killed the goat. My mother puts like a lamb on the table.
They treated me the same.
And she said, "Oh, Clara, this is marvelous. Where did you ever get a leg of lamb?" And she's carrying on and on. My mother says, "Oh, that's nothing." She says, "I know the butcher. He's a friend of mine." So they pack up and they go home. Next Sunday, Agnes and Jimmy pull in their driveway again. And I'm out there playing around doing something. And Agnes sticks her head out of the window of the car and she says, "Alfred," she says, "where's your goat? I don't see him." I says, "You ate him last week."
You gotta send that to Reader's Digest.
That's
and
my
get
goat-
like
that's my goat
$500, Daddy.
No.
Life in the United States.
Now, some of
Ate
you
'em
might
up.
remember great-grandma, and some of you might not. I'll tell you a little funny story about great-grandma. Great-grandma decided that she was going to go to California to go to Donna's wedding.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
My
Donna is
cousin.
Uncle Tony's daughter, and she come over to the house. She makes this grand announcement to me. "I'm a going to California." I said, "Grandma, you can't go to California." She says, "I'm a going." She's my granddaughter's wedding. I says, "You can't go." I says, "You have no money." She says, "That's okay. You're going to lend it to me." So she goes downtown to Church Street to a travel agent, and she figures out how to get to California the cheapest way. And it was on Air Canada out of Montreal. Okay? Now, I had to figure out how to get her to Montreal. Plus, when you buy a ticket to travel out of Montreal, you don't get a ticket here. What you get is a voucher, and it's sealed in an envelope with a check. And then at the airport, you turn that over to the ticket agent, and they open it up, and they write your ticket and stuff. And the purpose is to avoid some of the taxes and stuff. So I was working at IBM at the time, and there was a vacuum symposium in Anaheim. So I put my name in. I wanted to go to the symposium, so they approved it. So the secretary comes and says, "Okay, Al, how do you want to travel?" I said, "Well, book me on Air Canada flight XYZ, whatever it was. And so, okay, so she left. About 2 days later, she come back. She says, "Is there a reason you want to travel on that flight?" I says, "Yeah, my mother was traveling on that flight, and this way I can accompany her." "Oh, okay." So she went away, no problem. IBM wrote our tickets, so I got my tickets stuck in my pocket. Got my car rental, go over to Spring Street to pick up Grandma at the apartment, and there she is, she's standing out in the curb. She's got her suitcase with about 4 cardboard cartons and this big oval picture like this here, which I had to hand carry into my arm. It was a wedding picture of hers. She was given to her son. So I drive up to Montreal to the airport, and I put her out in the curb. I said, "Grammy," I said, "you stay right here, wait for me now." And put all the boxes alongside her and said, "I have to go turn the car in." So I went and turned the rental in.
They wouldn't let you in the house.
And then I come on, and we go to the ticket agent, and I got her squared away first. And so I had to go to a different window with my ticket, because her ticket was like a special service window, and mine was for prepaid tickets. So I went over there, and he says, "Let me have your ticket," and I did. And he says, "Where would you like to sit, sir?" I says, "I don't care." He says, "Smoking, not smoking?" I says, "Smoking." I said, "Just put me with her." So he got her ticket off her, looks at it. He says, "I'm sorry, sir, I can't do that." I says, "Well, why not?" He says, "Because she's booked in coach and you're booked in first class." I said, "Well, that's not a problem. Just change my ticket to coach." He says, "Well, we got 15 people on standby." I said, "Well, forget it." I wanted to get on the plane. So now we go down the plane, and of course I'm up in first class. They pull the curtains. The hostess comes along, they give you little slippers to put on your feet, they give you a glass of wine before they take off, get you all squared away, right? Yeah. Grammy's in the back of the plane. When you're flying from Montreal to Los Angeles, they make a stop in Toronto. And since it's the last port before you come back into the States, you had to get off the plane, go through U.S. Customs, and get back on the plane.
Don't forget the part about the time,
Mary,
Yes, I just wanted
let me finish. And so I wait up at the end of the walkaway for her to come out so I could walk her through customs. And here she comes walking up the aisle. She's got the arm of this big guy. He's about 6'6". Big old guy, and she's dragging him. And she was shorter than Mimi. Okay? And she's dragging him. She's, come. She says, "I want you to meet my son-in-law. He rides in the front of the plane." Well, when we got out there, I find out that several times during the flight she tried to get up and come forward, but the hostess stopped and said, "Sorry, madam, you can't go up there." "But that's all right. He's my son-in-law. He's got a stiffer neck. I'm just going to go up and rub his neck." But they wouldn't let her up.
That's funny, Daddy.
Enough of my stories.
What, honey? Oh, mind the way.
Collect the money from the battery.
Who's that?
Well, you can't
There's
see
Pa. His mommy. His Annie. Whoops, we're kind of bumping it. Yep. Come on, don't trip on me.
That's awesome. I know. Guess what we did last night? Open things up. That was Dan's job, and I rapped. Well, I didn't, I was texting, and I went to another store, and I saw it, and I was like, "Oh my God, it needs batteries."
Commercial, what's that?
Who has seeds? Don't get seeds for me.
Whoa, what's that?
Fun game, honey. It's fun in the day.
Just what he needs, a massager for your back.
You know why?
I always wanted one.
Yeah.
Well, it's for both you to share.
We'll be sharing. I'll be doing the rubbing. She'll be the rubbing.
We got a paper lantern for our spa.
We need it in life. We don't have one in the center of the room, too, for our stuff to come together. Wow.
Oh, how pretty, May.
Keep it up if I will.
Oh, wow.
You got a candle.
He wears hoodies every day. He's going to wear one today. I'm like, no,
Oh, nice shirt.
Oh, Bethany, I